Welcome back. In this video, we're going to discuss the main 4 components of fitness and how you can track all 4 to understand how your body is improving on your fitness journey. These are the basic components of fitness that I teach my personal training students and my clients. The primary components of fitness for overall physical health are cardiorespiratory capacity, muscular capacity, flexibility, and body composition. In other words, cardio, lifting, stretching, and proportion of fat-free mass to fat mass. The best way to improve these 4 components is to develop healthy daily habits, so I'll break down each category into a day-by-day fitness list for you. Body composition is not a behavior, but is heavily influenced by the habits and behaviors we practice around cardio, lifting, and nutrition. I have videos on building balanced meals, which I'll link below, that help to nurture long-term healthy habits that will contribute to lowered fat mass and increased fat-free mass. Since we aren't directly discussing nutrition in this video, I would recommend checking out those other videos if you need some guidance on how to eat. Without further ado, let's jump into the first component of overall fitness: cardiorespiratory capacity. Cardio is the ability of the body to take in oxygen, deliver that oxygen to cells, and then those cells use that oxygen to create energy to do stuff. Because we like doing stuff, we want to improve this capacity. Doing cardio consistently will lower risk of cardiovascular disease and metabolic disease, and the best form of healthcare is prevention. If you're just starting out, do low intensity activities like walking and gradually increase time and intensity. Start with 10 minutes a day and gradually increase, but never so much that it impacts your ability to focus on the other fitness components. The goal is to build up to 300 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity per week, which is 43 minutes a day, or 150 minutes of vigorous intensity activity per week, which is 22 minutes per day. When first starting out, pick one or the other to be consistent with. Here is an approximate guide on what intensity to aim for in regards to a 1 to 10 scale, and also approximate heart rate ranges and percentage of heart rate max. In other words, moderate is just intense enough that you can't hold a conversation while doing it, and vigorous involves a lot more sweat and heavy breathing and can really only be sustained for 22 minutes. As you progress in your capacity, you can include both moderate and vigorous intensities in your program as long as you are resting well and recovering. I honestly wouldn't recommend increasing exercise intensity if sleep is less than 7 hours a night. What this might look like in your daily habits is a 43-minute walk or doing 22 minutes of low-impact cardio. Low-impact cardio options include walking on an incline, elliptical, bike, and row machine. The second component of fitness is muscular capacity. Some of the physical qualities muscle gives us is function, strength, power, and overall resilience. What lifting does long term is it makes daily life easier through increased metabolic rate, improved joint and bone health, better posture, and lowered risk of injury. Muscle fibers have lots of mitochondria, which promote a robust metabolism, which means the more muscle we have, the less likely we are to develop metabolic diseases like type 2 diabetes, PCOS, cancer, non-alcoholic fatty liver, and Alzheimer's. I have a 2-part video series on how to begin strength training, which I will link below. The recommended dose of resistance training to start out with is 2 times a week and 1 to 2 sets of 3 to 8 exercises that work major muscle groups. I go over the details of a training program near the end of the videos I did on this topic. Add additional sets each exercise as you master the technique. The level of intensity you want is about a 6 to 7 out of 10. If you're familiar with reps in reserve, that is another way you can measure intensity. You'll want to stick to a rep in reserve of 2, which means if your goal is 10 reps, you want to get to 10 reps and feel like you could have done 2 more. As you progress, which you will, you'll want to make sure your lifting regimen complements your ability to recover. So if you're lifting for 30 minutes twice a week, as well as walking for 45 minutes a day, make sure you're also getting enough sleep of 7 to 9 hours and eating nutrient-dense foods so that your body can properly recover and grow skeletal muscle and supporting connective tissues. The third component of overall fitness is flexibility. Flexibility is the range of movement or amount of motion that a joint is capable of reaching. Every joint has a different amount of flexibility that adds up to full body mobility, aka your ability to tie your shoes, reach into your car for groceries, put away dishes on the top shelf, and play with your kids. The benefits of mobility are decreased chronic pain, lowered risk of injury, and improved posture. The best way to incorporate flexibility is actually just to perform your resistance training exercise to full range of motion. This means that while you are lifting, you'll feel a stretch when the muscle is in its lengthened position, and then a stronger contraction or burn when the muscle is in flexion. There is no known benefit to doing stretching on its own. Doing activities like yoga, where stretches are held for a long time, should be accompanied by resistance training to ensure joints are still supported and risk of injury is kept at bay. If you notice that as you increase your cardio and lifting, your ability to move decreases, then doing exercise with more range of motion and going slower will likely have a greater response than doing bouts of static stretching. Lowered mobility may also be caused by a diet low in nutrients and dehydration, so make sure you're hydrated and nourished. In other words, prioritize good cardio, lifting, and nutrition, and mobility will likely occur naturally. The last component of overall fitness is body composition. Body composition is the proportion of fat-free mass, for example, muscle, bone, blood, organs, and fluids, to fat mass, for example, subcutaneous, visceral, and ectopic adipose tissue deposited under the skin and around the organs. Some of the benefits of having a healthy fat mass and higher fat-free mass is decreased risk of cardiorespiratory disease, improved basal metabolic rate, improved mobility, and better bodily function. A healthy fat mass percentage for females is anywhere from 17 to 30%, and for males, 18 to 20%. This is very, very nuanced, and we don't yet have a standard for fat-free mass, which makes measuring fat mass very one-sided when we look at the whole picture of healthy body composition. That is why the range is so big. Our culture is preoccupied with weight and body size, and I have mostly clients whose primary goal is to lose weight. As a personal trainer, I am always behavior focused rather than outcome focused. If your goal is to lose fat, starting with incorporating cardio and resistance training behaviors is one of the most powerful things you can do for long-term health related to body composition. Food is extremely nuanced and complex, and the easiest place to start is whatever feels most sustainable. What we know for sure is that a diet high in water, fruits, vegetables, and protein will contribute to a healthy body composition. I want to reiterate that the behaviors are more important than the outcome. If it isn't sustainable long term, try something else. This goes for exercise and diet. This attitude will help to avoid behaviors related to weight cycling, which is the pattern of losing and gaining weight over and over again. As you build trust with yourself over time that you can sustain behaviors, self-esteem will improve, and therefore quality of life, and therefore body composition. So there you have it. The 4 primary components of fitness: 43 minutes per day of cardio, 2 times a week of resistance training, performing full range of motion for mobility, and ensuring body composition supports long-term health. Keep in mind there are also secondary components of fitness, which are balance, coordination, agility, reaction time, speed, power, and mental capability. I know for myself that when I was lifting weights but ignoring cardio, respiration and blood flow were an issue. And in my earlier years in fitness, when I was doing lots of running but no weightlifting, I had joint pain. And even when I was lifting weights and doing cardio, but I wasn't doing full range of motion and controlling my movements, I was getting injured on a regular basis. So they all go hand in hand. Drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences with implementing these behaviors. Click the link in the description for my free cookbook. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tips on nutrition, fitness, and healthy living. As always, remember that your journey is unique and it's entirely within your power to cultivate a healthy, joyful life. See you next time, and happy training.